The Real Haunting of Chris Chambers. True story behind the family that vanished. The basement recording. Chris Chambers screamed as the lights in the basement flickered violently. The sound of water dripping echoed in the darkness, each drop hitting the floor louder than the last. He stumbled backward, clutching his camera, trying to focus the lens on the thing standing in front of him. It looked like a person, but its skin was gray, its eyes empty, and its mouth moved without sound. Behind it, the old family projector flickered on its own, showing an old home video of a little girl's birthday party. The girl looked just like his mother. The ghostly figure took a step toward him, and the doll that had been sitting on the shelf suddenly fell to the floor. It looked straight at Chris and whispered, "You shouldn't have come back." Then the screen went black. 3 months earlier, Chris had returned to his childhood home in Raleigh, North Carolina. The house had been empty for years since his parents died. Everyone in town said it was cursed, but Chris didn't believe in ghosts. He had just gotten out of rehab and wanted a quiet place to start over. The house smelled like old wood and dust. The floor creaked with every step. His parents' furniture was still there, just as they had left it in 1992. At first, everything seemed fine. Chris spent his days fixing broken pipes and repainting walls. But at night, the house made strange noises. Doors clicked open even when locked. Sometimes, he heard soft footsteps coming from the basement. One night, while recording a vlog for his recovery group, a small child's laugh played in the background. When he replayed the video, the laugh was clearer, followed by a woman's whisper saying his name. He tried to explain it away. Old pipes, maybe a raccoon, but the sounds kept getting louder. He started sleeping with the lights on. Then Tuhin, he doll appeared. It was small, with blonde hair and a faded blue dress. Chris didn't remember owning it, yet it showed up on the kitchen counter one morning. He threw it in the trash, but the next day, it was sitting on his bed. Its glass eyes were cracked, and when he touched it, a faint voice said, "I love you." By the third week, Chris's recordings showed him growing pale and paranoid. He stopped shaving. His voice trembled. The walls of the house seemed to breathe. In one video, he pointed the camera toward the basement door and whispered, "Something's down there." That night, a loud crash woke him up. Water was pouring from under the basement door. He ran downstairs barefoot, flashlight shaking in his hand. The air was freezing. On the far wall, in dripping black paint, someone had written, "He is still here." The projector clicked on by itself, showing his father standing in the same basement, holding a shovel, dirt smeared on his face. Chris screamed and stumbled backward, just as a hand reached out from the shadows and grabbed his ankle. Voices in the walls. Chris fell hard onto the wet floor, his flashlight rolling away and flickering out. He kicked wildly, trying to free his leg from whatever had grabbed him. When he finally pulled free, he scrambled backward, gasping for air. The basement was darker now, the only light coming from the old projector still playing against the far wall. On the screen, his father was digging, slowly, methodically, then looking straight into the camera with lifeless eyes. Chris forced himself to stand. His clothes were soaked, his heart pounding so hard it hurt. He shouted into the darkness, "Who's there?" His voice echoed, bouncing off the dripping concrete. No answer, just the sound of water and the faint hum of the projector. He reached for the cord to unplug it, but before he could, the image on the screen changed. It wasn't his father anymore. It was him. Chris Chambers, filmed from behind, standing right there in the basement. The figure on the screen turned its head slightly, like it could see him watching. Then the film melted, and everything went dark. The next morning, Chris told himself it had been a dream. He hadn't slept in days, and his mind was playing tricks on him. He tried to stay busy, cleaning the living room, fixing the plumbing, but he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching. His phone battery drained quickly no matter how much he charged it. When he tried to record again, the video showed static, then a woman crying softly in the background. That night, Chris called his friend Mark to come over. Mark had grown up with him and didn't believe in any of the ghost talk. When Mark arrived, the house felt colder than usual. They went down to the basement together, Chris holding his flashlight tight. Everything was quiet for a while. No sounds, no movement. Then Mark noticed something strange. "Dude," he whispered, pointing to the far wall. Here were new words written there, in what looked like rust or dried blood. "She knows you're here." Mark turned pale. "We should go," he said. But before they could leave, the basement door slammed shut above them. The lights flickered. The doll was now sitting at the bottom of the stairs, its head slowly turning toward them. Chris grabbed a hammer from his tool bag and shouted, "Stay away from me!" But the doll only smiled. The air grew thick and cold, like the oxygen had been sucked out of the room. Mark ran up the stairs and began banging on the locked door. Chris turned to look at him, and when he looked back, the doll was gone. Then came the whisper. It was right beside his ear, soft but clear. "He's still down here." The basement light exploded, showering sparks everywhere. The projector turned itself on again, showing a new image. An open grave, right beneath their feet. Chris dropped to his knees, shining the flashlight on the floor. The concrete was cracked, like something underneath was pushing to get out. And then, the floor moved. The basement revelation. The floor heaved upward with a loud cracking sound, and water gushed from the broken concrete like a burst pipe. Chris stumbled backward, pulling Mark with him as mud and debris splashed across the basement. The projector's beam cut through the dust, flickering wildly, showing flashes of the same open grave over and over again. A foul smell rose from the water, like rot, like something that had been buried too long. "Chris, we need to get out," Mark shouted, yanking on the door handle again. It wouldn't budge. The sound of the water mixed with something else now. Soft breathing, deep and labored, coming from the hole in the floor. They both froze. Slowly, a small wooden box floated up through the murky water and bumped against Chris's foot. His hands were shaking as he picked it up. It was old, covered in mold and grime, the edges splitting apart. On the lid, barely visible under the dirt, were 3 carved initials. MCC, his mother's name, Mary Catherine Chambers. Chris's breath caught in his throat. He remembered her jewelry box looking just like this when he was little. He opened it carefully. Inside was a single Polaroid photo. His parents smiling, holding a baby. Him. But their faces weren't right. Their eyes were too dark. Their smiles too wide, stretched unnaturally. Mark whispered, "Chris, man, we have to go. Right now." But before Chris could answer, the projector flickered again and the image changed. It showed the same photo, only now, the baby in the picture was missing. In its place was a shadowy shape. The whispering started again, filling the room from every direction. "He took her. He took her." The doll's voice joined in, repeating the same words, over and over, in a sing-song tone. Chris dropped the box and backed away, trembling. "Who took who? What do you want from me?" he shouted into the darkness. The only reply was the thudding sound coming from beneath the water. It grew louder, closer, like footsteps rising from below. Suddenly, the basement door flew open at the top of the stairs. Mark didn't wait. He bolted up the steps and out into the hallway. Chris followed, soaked and shaking, clutching the flashlight. They slammed the door behind them, panting, trying to catch their breath. For a few minutes, there was silence. Then, a faint tapping started from the other side of the basement door. 1 tap, 2, 3. Then, in a voice that wasn't Chris's or Mark's, someone whispered from the other side, You can't leave yet." The next morning, Mark packed his things and left town. He never returned any of Chris's calls. Alone again, Chris sat on the living room floor, staring at the basement door. The smell of rot was stronger now, creeping through the vents. He turned on his camera one more time, his voice low and shaking. "If anyone finds this," he said, "don't come here. Don't go in the basement." Then, from upstairs came the sound of the projector clicking on again. Only this time, it was coming from his parents' old bedroom, the final recording. Chris froze. The sound of the old projector clicking echoed through the ceiling, slow, rhythmic, like it was calling him. Every instinct told him to run, to get out of the house, but something stronger pulled him upstairs. Maybe it was fear, maybe curiosity, or maybe it was the voice he thought he heard whisper his name from the hallway. He climbed the stairs, step by step, his flashlight trembling in his hand. The door to his parents' bedroom was half open, light from the projector spilling through the crack and dancing across the floor. The room smelled like damp wood and old perfume, just like it had when his mother was alive. On the far wall, the projector played another reel, grainy footage of his family's old home movies. His father laughing at a picnic, his mother holding him as a baby. Then the film glitched, and their faces began to twist and blur. His mother's head turned too far to the side. His father's mouth stretched open until it covered half his face. Chris whispered, "Stop this." But the images only grew darker. The reel showed his father walking into the basement, shovel in hand, dragging something wrapped in a sheet. The film camera followed him, shaking, like someone else was recording. Then suddenly, his father looked directly at the lens and said, "You shouldn't have come back, son." The projector bulb flickered and exploded, plunging the room into darkness. The only light left came from Chris's flashlight, and when he turned it toward the corner of the room, he dropped it. Standing there was his mother, or what looked like her. Her dress was soaked and torn, her skin pale as paper. Her eyes were black and hollow. She stepped closer, water dripping from her hair. "Mom?" Chris whispered, his voice breaking. The figure tilted her head. "He made me stay," she said, her voice soft but echoing in the walls. "Now you have to find